Could you give us an overview of the market you cater to in terms of size and the potential?
As far as the market is concerned, Tata BlueScope Steel, we are into a infrastructure space, but a part of an infrastructure space which is known as a roofing and cladding, and that is also into a color-coated roofing and cladding space. The large size of the market is somewhere around 4 to 4.5 million tons in terms of tonnages. Although the roof generally is measured in square meter, but from a steel perspective, the input is in metric ton. Of course, we all are aware of how the evolution of this market has shaped this country. Earlier we had a thatched roof, tiles roof, got then transitioned to galvanized corrugated, which is nothing but a zinc coating metal roof. And then the technology of zinc and aluminum, which is pioneered by BlueScope Steel, came into India. And now the market is of size of almost 4.5 million ton, growing at a CAGR of almost 10 to 12%. Unlike in Western world, where the residential roofing is also a considerable part. Here it is more of a cement and concrete. Although in states like Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir, hilly terrain, part of Kerala also, there are metal roofs made for a residential purpose as well. Apart from the residential or individual house owner, there is also a scope enough for railway stations, metro, bullet train projects, port, airport. Wherever you want to cover the roof, the metal roof is obviously the natural choice. Considering the corrosion in the country and the sea surrounding India, obviously, then the corrosion percentage is also huge. The metal roof with a zinc and aluminum coating gives almost a 4 times longer life than the normal metal roof. So this is basically in a short the roofing market which has evolved. Parallelly, for industrial shades, the market has also evolved. And from a prefabricated structure or a metal roof has also transitioned through pre-engineered buildings, where you can erect your building in less than 6 months, 12 months, because it gets manufactured at factory, and on the site it gets assembled and delivered to the owner. So there is enough scope for a residential, there is enough scope for a infra mobility, enough scope for the industrial, and the large one is also warehouses. That is where also our presence is there.
So, sir, where do you come into the picture? Because, it is basically the construction industry, operates on its own. So, what is the adoption rate of the products that you have, when something is getting constructed? Is there any regulatory requirement, or is it a self-imposed, quality thing that the construction industry adopts to take products like yours?
Yeah, good question. The regulatory intervention started early 2000. BlueScope being the pioneer and Tata Group, and that is led by Tata Steel, the self-imposed regulations, whether it is from a safety perspective or whether it is environmentally conscious perspective, and hence the technology which I'm suggesting or which we are using is zinc and aluminum, that is a patented product of a BlueScope, which gives 4 times life more than the normal zinc coating. Of course, subsequent to that, then the BIS code and the residential codes were modified appropriately. But in the beginning, it was obviously the leadership of Tata BlueScope Steel, which took initiative in shaping this market last 25 years.
You not only supply steel, but also you do value addition, which is what you are, noted for, right?
Correct.
So, are the industry, are the construction industry, I mean, are they really, I mean, are they willing to take on a little bit extra to ensure that the longevity of the of whatever is constructed, or do they cut corners and say that, look, I mean, this is slightly costly, so we don't go for it.
That's
What
a
what?
challenge. Yeah, that's a challenge, obviously, we are facing since last 20-25 years. But the continuous awareness, and awareness not among the only user community, but also through the influencer community, which is industrial architects, government officers,
Right.
those agencies which are involved. We are making conscious effort of updating about the technological development which are taking place in Australia as well as in the other western part of the world.
Right, right,
And that is being made aware. And through that, the influencers are also ensuring that the owners or the developer of the site or the contractor is well tuned with the requirement. There is a case, of course, uh, from a monetary aspect, it is a premium based product.
right.
And the reason being that when we say that a Tata BlueScope steel sheeting roofing is used, you don't have to see for next 15 years, 20 years. We also
Right.
give guarantees based on the case to case basis on the project. But not only the corrosion, which is an important item, but apart from corrosion, the paint system which we use,
Hmm.
that also lasts longer.
Right.
And the paint system is also IP protected, uh,
Oh,
where we ensure that the pigments or the paint components are also chosen in such a way that the paint color fading does not happen.
hmm.
So we do take care in communication, this also. And not only this, even through various architect colleges also, so that those who are getting into this field, fresh and raw, are also being made aware of the development of the steel building. Otherwise, the
Hmm.
concrete obviously is there in this country since last hundreds years, 70 to 100 years.
Right.
And this latest technological phenomenon is also being made aware of to everyone.
So, what is the downside that you are messaging to the people who use your products? What is the downside that if you don't use this, or if you use this, your XYZ is going to last longer, or it's going to be more durable? You don't have to take on much, worry about much. What is the messaging that you give?
So, ideally, the metrics for such kind of a communication is a life cycle cost.
Right,
And we try to convince and communicate our message through life cycle cost.
right.
You may have to replace your roof or a sheeting twice in a decade if we go
Hmm.
with someone with a inferior product,
Right.
or you can buy piece for 20 years buying Tata BlueScope steel material.
What are the trends? I mean, of course, I mean, we are at that inflection point where, there are a lot of technological advancements and a lot of innovation that is happening in the construction, in the architectural industry, in infrastructure and all that. What are the trends in the coated steel and cladding sector that you are seeing and in which you are taking some concrete steps and some of the innovations that is happening at your place?
The strength of the material, which earlier it was measured in a MPa, megapascal, was almost in the range of 250 to 350 MPa.
Okay.
Whereas now the trend is obviously to use 550 MPa and above, for which obviously then the raw material also needs basically the high strength material, long lasting material with a zinc and aluminum coating. And you can delay the color fading by using appropriate paint technology. And that's
Hmm.
where the industry is shifting. If you really see it, it has shifted from asbestos tiles, Mangalorean tiles, to a metal roofing, and then obviously zinc and aluminum based roofing industry. And that
Hmm.
is where our leadership is
Right.
very much established, which is
Hmm.
also easy for a designer to make the designs which he has in mind using
Right.
our sheets.
Hmm.
We have a various roll formed equipments through which we can give our offers almost 12 to 13 types of a different roof structures. We call it trim deck profile, we call it clip lock profiles, screwless profiles. All these profiles are also being used, whether it is in metros or whether it is in normal residential infrastructural project as well.
You make, you have factories in India and you have invested, money in setting up those facilities. Can you run us through some of the facilities that you have in India? Where are they? What do they do and all
Okay,
that?
we call it as a mother plant in Jamshedpur,
Okay.
where basically we process the steel
Right.
and the raw material comes from Tata Steel, which is consistent in a quality.
Right.
We coat with zinc and aluminum coating. That itself is a long drawn process,
Right.
continuous process.
Okay.
And after zinc and aluminum coating, we paint it. So obviously we need to take it into the oven and then bake it. And then after making the coils, the output of that plant is nothing but a steel coils.
Right.
And then the steel coils are transported to Bhiwadi, the location which is near Delhi, Chennai, which is in south, in near Pune, Khed, and in eastern region, we have one more unit where we process these materials. We cut it in the form of sheets and make a roll form product and distribute across the country.
Right.
And with our engineering team based in Pune, we also help the customer to design the product.
Right. Okay.
Uh, for some customers, we do offer even the construction, which is nothing but apply and supply both.
So we are also at a stage of our planet where there is a lot of initiatives on decarbonization of the sector. Whichever field you look at it, there is an increasing awareness towards decarbonization. So how is your industry and your sector dealing with such a change that is happening?
Steel itself is basically a recyclable.
Hmm.
That's an inherent advantage of steel roofing. Apart from that, we have ensured that we have a zero carcinogenic raw material entire.
Hmm.
uh, Obviously, it gives us a comfort advantage in the certification of Griha EPD Green Pro, which also talks about a sustainability quotient of our company.
Hmm.
Apart from that, these roofs are also solar compatible.
Okay. Okay.
So if you see the entire package, it fits well into the sustainability talk which just now we are having.
Okay, okay. Uh-huh. So that enables erection of solar panels and all that easier. Is that
Absolutely.
what you?
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Okay. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, that is one of the, you
And
know,
just to let you know, of course, we are now talking of infra, but this company has a division which is almost 50% into a retail. So we sell our sheets number one, two, three kind of a smaller tonnages, smaller sheets across our dealer network, which has almost 7,000 dealers across India.
Okay.
So, from a supply chain perspective, also, it helps the smaller consumer or the smallest consumer to buy our product and put it on a roof.
So that is if at all a person like me or somebody wants to, let's say, I mean, we realize that, it's important. So we can walk into one of the shops and buy it according to our
Absolutely. Wherever you are, next 5 kilometer radius, you should find a dealer of Tata BlueScope
blue
steel.
scope. Okay, okay.
So
Yeah,
that the
right.
reach is also very much there across India.
So how do you tackle this logistical? Because you have to supply it throughout the country, and you are in certain pockets, as you said, you are in Jamshedpur and Chennai and all that. So how is the logistics panning out for you? You do it yourself, or you're dependent on somebody else?
So we have a distributor dealer network. So we have
Okay.
almost 35 distributors across India.
Mm.
And it is they who are basically transporting it to the 7,000 dealers and
Mm.
ensuring that our material is available in the stores. So
Mhm.
this is for a retail, which is a larger chunk. At the same time, for a project specific, whether it is Pune Metro happening in Pune or Lucknow Metro happening in Lucknow, then
Mm.
we are taking help of the nearest roll forming facility, which is in Bhiwadi in Lucknow, or in Pune, it is near Khed, and
Mm.
taking the material from that specific roll forming unit and handing it over to the
Mhm.
developer or a
Mhm,
contractor.
mhm, mhm. So, sir, apart from these physical constructions, I mean, can your product be used in urban mobility, in any urban mobility, like metros or facilities like that?
Yeah, very much, very much. As we speak, what we have almost in India, there must be somewhere around 12,000 railway stations. It is being used at a predominant larger railway stations wherever re-roofing requirement is there, where they are
Right.
changing it from asbestos or metal roofing to a zinc aluminum coated like us. And
Hmm.
metro presence is our presence in the metro across country is also significantly high.
I see. Okay.
Very much.
So, what are the new areas that this can be applied? I mean, metro is one. Which are the new areas that this can be applied? I mean, this can be adopted.
The new another area which is there and taking shape and but now in a nascent stage is a water tank.
Okay.
So instead of a concrete tank, a cement
Right.
tank,
Yeah.
we are and there's a significant quantities is being supplied
Right.
to the water tank industry, uh,
Mm-hmm.
where the tanks are being made of zinc and aluminum based steel.
Mm-hmm.
But in a larger steel context, it is still in a nascent stage, but it has
Right.
made a good
Oh,
inroads.
okay. Well, I think, in terms of functionality, that is much better than concrete because
Certainly,
for cleaning purposes and hygienic
absolutely,
purposes.
absolutely.
Yeah. So that is something I think that is another sector which I think you can make people aware. I mean, through
Perfect.
some,
Right.
so
Yep. Correct.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah. So, sir, what is the competitive landscape in your industry? Apart from you, who are the other players and how you are? I mean,
Uh, the largest competitor from a volume perspective is JSW.
okay,
Apart from JSW, then AMNS or earlier SR is also a competitor.
right.
And then some, we call it as a re-roller or unorganized, not unorganized in a literal sense. There
Mm-hmm.
are 10, 12 competitors who are buying steel and color coating it and processing and
Mm-hmm.
giving it in the market.
Right.
So they are like Jindal India and all. These are also there. But the large competitor is concerned, it is JSW and AMNS,
Yeah.
ArcelorMittal and Nippon Steel.
Okay.
So they are the competitors.
Since you are part of the Tata Group, Tata Steel fold and all that, so you source much of your major thing from Tata Steel, right? I mean, so is it through an annual contract or is it a, what as a long-term supply contract?
This being a JV, this being a joint venture between Tata Steel and BlueScope Steel, the raw material contract is very much in the multi-year long-term contract inbuilt into the JV agreement itself.
Right.
And that suits us also because we get a consistent quality of raw material next to our
Right.
manufacturing location, which is in Jamshedpur.
Right. Right. That is what it is. Yeah.
Taxation perspective, I'm talking about indirect as such, is not much that the government can do, considering that we have a GST and we get the input tax credit, and so our customers also.